Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel and to episode number 14 of the Market Weekly Recap, where we talk about the week that just happened and then go over what's coming in the weeks to come. There's so much coming up in September. It's a big month. Historically, it's a horrible month for basically all markets, but especially for crypto. In Bitcoin's whole existence, the crypto markets have only seen really two bullish months. They've seen two kind of so-so months in September, but only two very bullish Septembers have ever happened. So historically, September is pretty horrible. And on top of that, we have all these different types of events. Some of them are compelling, some of them are very crypto related, and some of them are more about the market. So we have on September 13th, CPI data is going to come out. On September 15th, we have the ETH merge, which is a huge thing. September 11th, we have NearCom starting, which could do some things for the NearCom, for the near price. We have FOMC meeting on the 21st, and then the day after that, on the 22nd, the ADA Basel hard fork is coming. And then on top of that, we have everything else with the macro. The news just keeps getting worse and worse out of Europe. It just gets worse and worse. So it's not helping at all. Everything that Putin seems to be doing is just making things worse. I think he has a plan where he's saying he's going to attack these markets that have been built around inorganic growth, which he kind of has a point. And it's just going to get worse and worse, I think, as time goes on. So with all these different compelling events, but the dark cloud of the macro, it just makes it really interesting as a trader. I mean, I've taken shorts and longs and shorts and longs, it seems like every single day, just depending on what's happening. So it just makes it really fun as a trader to deal with all these different compelling and very volatile days. And on top of that, we have things kind of cooking up with some alts, and then with our DeFi projects that we love, there's a lot going on, right? So Walrus had a pretty much, Wshare had pretty much a very bipolar kind of week. Wine is still on this horrible downtrend, but you got to figure that sooner or later it's going to come out of it, or at least do some kind of bump. And then Mshare looks like magic finally woke up, but will it hold? So there's just a ton to cover. So we're going to go into the charts. I'm going to show a short that I took not that long ago, and talk about that, and just get into all the different charts. But before that, a word from our sponsor and partner, Swapsicle. All right, guys, so let's see what's new with Swapsicle. If you're not familiar with them, check out the links below the video. This is one of the most superior dexes in all of crypto. All right, so again, a big thank you to Swapsicle for sponsoring our show. All right, guys, so let's talk about the charts. A lot to get into. Let's get into it. BTC, it's going to rule everything as far as crypto, right? It seems to be, it's been kind of like at around 70 to 75% correlation with NASDAQ in the last 30 to 45 days. So I guess the NASDAQ is going to tell us what BTC is going to do. But looking at BTC, what is it going to do next? What is it doing? First thing to point out, if you look at this bear flag right here, from that started back in May, then this bear flag right here that took a while to develop, and then the last bear flag, which didn't take very long to develop till the next dump, you will see that this structure right here looks a lot different than those three bear flags. It really does. Could this in time turn into a bear flag? Sure, absolutely. I mean, this one, was it this one? Yeah, at first this one didn't know. It was this one over here. At first didn't really look like a bear flag and then turned into one. So this structure right here, though, does look different so far. Makes me wonder if we will see up before down, which really no one knows for sure. But the trend is your friend. So basically, you have to assume that we will see more continuation to the downside. But if you look at the 4 hour, or here, let's look at the 1 day actually. It is starting to look a little better. We can definitely see that it's looking a lot better as far as the indicators, maybe even a little bottomed out here. This bottom right here on the RSI, definitely higher than this one. So there's a lot to like as far as maybe things just, short term, BTC doing something nice. So, what is it going to do next? I don't know for sure, but what I would say is that if it can get over this high right here of 20,000, if it can close over 20,565, anywhere from that to 20,425, if it could close on the daily in that range or higher, um, then there's really no reason for it to not run all the way up to, well, I mean, it's going to have some ebbs and flows along the way. There's psychological 21K. It's just there. 21K is just a psychological number. So you got to think it might have some resistance there, maybe some at 21.5 again. But then maybe all the way up to, I mean, yeah, 21.5 would definitely be some resistance around that 21.5 to 21.9 mark. And then I don't see it. I see it running all the way up to probably about, no, that doesn't look like too much support. I mean, it could run all the way up anywhere from 22.5 or maybe even if you want to play 22,424 all the way to 23K. It could definitely run to there. It definitely could. And then you would expect a lot of resistance. I mean, just a ton. So yeah, I mean, if it could close around that range over the next few days, maybe next week, with so many cool impending events coming up in crypto that I talked about in the intro, we could see a little bump, which would allow these alts to run quite a bit. Ethereum is starting to look a lot better on the 4 hour. It's definitely been looking better. I mean, if it could turn green here, I mean, you will just, this is clear as day. Look at that. I mean, it's just, it looks really good to me. Ethereum looks really, really good. Let's see what else as far as Ethereum. I mean, you can make an argument that's forming another higher low. Yeah, I mean, there's just 1, 2, 3, 4 possible higher lows there back to back to back that you can look at. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things are kind of telling us that it wouldn't be weird at all if crypto has, a good week or maybe even 2 ahead until further downside pressure just from this horrible macro. And one that I've been keeping an eye on for a while now is Near. We have NearCom starting a week from today. And this is actually pretty interesting. So first thing that I want to point out is it did hit the first target that we had from back. I think I set this target back around here in August. As you can see here, it definitely hit that target, or almost did. Came really close. It just couldn't get over the supply line. And now if it can cross over this other supply line, the same supply line again, then we could actually start thinking about the second target. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Near, but this one's really, really interesting to me right now, just because of the fact that it's trying to clear the supply line from back that's, it's been there for a pretty long time. So let's see if it can cross it right here. And if it can, things can get really, really interesting, especially just as we kind of get towards NearCom, which again starts a week from today. And it could be one of those perfect situations of buy the rumor, sell the news, and then the day that NearCom starts on the 11th, then you can sell. But first things first, let's see what happens here. Let's see if it can cross this line. So keep an eye on Near. If it can cross this supply line, things can get really, really interesting for this asset. And it could run really, really fast, really, really high. So yeah, keep an eye on Near. But again, if BTC's dumping, Near's not going to do anything. In fact, it's just going to dump. So yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, it could cross the supply line, and if BTC's dumping, it's just going to dump down with it. So, but first things first, you got to cross the supply line. So let's keep an eye on that one. Litecoin has just been offering good spot after good spot after good spot to short. And it's still, if you look at it on the 4 hours, still looks very, very weak. Let's see if the 1 day looks any different. 1 day actually doesn't look bad. Looks like it's about to go into positive momentum. So yeah, I think I've maybe shorted enough Litecoin for now. We will see what happens. But this is one of those assets that will be so good to short. Let's just assume that Bitcoin does go up to like, 22.5 or 23,000 or somewhere in that range. It's able to run that fast, that high. then these are the kinds of assets like Litecoin that we look to short. I wanted to talk about EOS. I took a short with EOS this week and it was a disaster. Yeah, and it just, it did some things I wasn't expecting. It turns out that EOS has some kind of weird branding thing where it's going to change its complete branding. It's going to be called Antelope, I believe. So again, if it can run big time in the next week or so while Bitcoin's running, assuming Bitcoin runs, this will be another one I'd love to short. I mean, seriously, if it can run and maybe double top here at $2, oh my gosh, I will short this so hard. It's not even funny. So keep an eye on EOS. It could definitely run a lot of momentum right now due to the fact that a lot of people seem to be excited about this branding thing, but it's nothing. It's just a marketing ploy. All right, took a drink there. All right, so let's talk about Veracity. Several of you DM me or message me about Veracity. Guys, it's still not the time for these kinds of assets. It's just not. So this is what the monthly right here on the monthly chart. Or no, this is the last month of Veracity. I should have probably put it on TradingView, would have been better. But look, I mean, it's still very much on a downtrend. It does seem to be kind of slowing down the hemorrhaging, but it's still very much on a downtrend. I would not touch this asset for that reason. And the other reason is look at the circulating supply. It's at 9%, guys, 9%. No, thank you. So if you think this asset's going to 10x, okay, great. It's going to 10x. That means it's fully diluted. Market cap's going to be 5.5 billion. 5.5 billion for this asset. Are you kidding me? No. So again, guys, I know that they have great marketing. They seem to have a very, very like strong community. They're all over Twitter. Wouldn't touch this asset right now. I just wouldn't. The macro's way, way, way too bad. Now, if it gets destroyed some more, drops another, I don't know, 50%, 60, 70, as the macro destroys a lot of these types of projects some more. Yeah. I mean, then I would be very excited about this asset. But right now, I just can't get into it. So what? It got as high as almost 10 cents. Unbelievable. Almost 10 cents for Veracity. That can't be right. Yeah, it can. Wow. So that means at 10 cents, it's I can't believe it. That means its market cap must have been insane. Wow, just wow. Well, you can buy it in a bunch of different exchanges now. Yeah. Wow, guys. I had no idea its market cap was that big then. So yeah, keep an eye on Veracity because apparently it really, really likes to run when things are good. So if it gets, destroyed some more, when the market starts to turn around or you start feeling like maybe we're closer to a bottom than further, which could be now. I mean, no one really knows when the bottom's going to happen. This is going to be a good way to be able to get some really huge returns because it clearly has ran in the past. And it's nowhere. I mean, it's at nowhere close to its all-time highs. I mean, it's at like, yeah, I mean, I think it's at like really about 5% of its all-time high. So it's dropped significantly. So yeah, let's keep an eye on this asset. And the other one that I wanted to cover is Magic Craft. I told you guys when it was at what, 2 cents, not that long ago, that this would be an asset that I think is going to get destroyed. I mean, it was at 0.0037 cents not that long ago. I mean, this is what, less than a month ago, guys. And then it ran all the way up to 2 cents. So, it doing what it's been doing was of zero surprise whatsoever. It's still very much on a downtrend. So, for those, I know I've covered this project many times in the channel. And I'm excited about its prospects long term. If it accomplish what it wants to accomplish, it can run to some big numbers. But if you look at its fully diluted market cap right now, I mean, if it does a 10x, that means it's at 1.2 billion. That doesn't sound realistic. And then the other thing that's concerning is that the circulating supply is only 16%. So it's still not the right time for this kind of asset. It just isn't. So that is why I've been warning about this project. I'm not trying to FUD it. I'm not against the team or anything like that. I'm just letting you guys know it's still a very, very tricky time for these kinds of assets. So let's look at more of the highly volatile DeFi stuff that we love to cover. So yeah, Mshare Magic, it's doing things. It's been doing things for, I think it's about a good week now. Yeah, that chart's going to look all sorts of weird on the 15-minute because it's such an illiquid asset, only 30K to look at. So this asset's just going to go all sorts of nuts, but it does present opportunities. So it's done some amazing things. So it was down here at $3.10 on September 1st. And here we are 3 days later, got all the way up to $8. Now it's at $5.70. Now, if you buy a bunch of Mshare, you know, it's not very liquid. So say you buy like a couple $1,000s worth, you're going to affect the price. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, we will see what happens with this project. It's one of the very few projects that actually they can pay themselves because of the revenue that their auto compounder makes. So you got to think that they will be able to survive the bear market. And if they do, it could be something that's very fruitful. I mean, this is an asset that got as high as $61 not that long ago, just about 4 months ago. So yeah, we will keep an eye on Mshare for sure. Walrus, Wshare, what a week it's had. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Let's check it out. I don't know why it's lagging here on my system. There we go. Well, there you go, guys. What a week it's had. Here, let's check it on the 4 hour. There you go. So it got as low as $15 a share to a Wshare token, as high as 26. Right now it's at 25. Wow. So it's interesting. That is a big increase of about almost 70%. So in just a few days. So we will see what happens with Wshare. These projects just, again, they present so much opportunity, but also so much risk. So just keep that in mind. But this will be a fun one. So we'll see how Lame Hillbilly keeps going. And really interesting to see these two projects out of nowhere kind of come out. Wine, problems with wine still. Look at that chart on the 4 hour, just yuck. It does seem to have maybe bottomed, but this bottom right here is certainly lower than this bottom right here. So it's still not the cleanest chart, but this community, we know the community. We know that they have some holders. We know that they are trusted by many, and LB is trusted by many. So you got to wonder, is this finally the value spot? So this will be another one that you have to keep your eye on, because at $30 a share token, you got to figure that wine at some point in time is going to do a run like we just saw for Wshare. We just saw it for Mshare. When is that going to happen to wine? But it's still a falling knife, even though I mean, I guess one could make an argument that maybe, just maybe, this could be the bottom, but we will see. I mean, it's really hard to know for sure, especially with the macro being so bad. But you just got to wonder that this asset at some point in time is going to be able to make a run. So we will see if this is it. But yeah, keep an eye on wine, and I will be keeping an eye on wine for sure. Pebbles, another one's just gotten destroyed. This chart also does not look good at all. So we will see what happens with Pebble. It is just so closely integrated with Ethereum in so many different ways. If you farm it, you have to farm it with Serene. It's a peg token. You have to farm it with wrapped Ethereum. And yeah, it's just been a really rough ride for this asset. Again, I think this project will survive the bear market. Of the few projects I'm covering them because I think they will survive the bear market. You know, Astro is another one that they've done so many different things. They got rid of the rebase. So because of that, you got to figure that they'll survive the market too with their partnerships and everything that they're trying to get going. So we will see what happens with Astro, but I just wanted to at least show that this is one that is really starting to kind of bottom out. And I've been watching it a while. I know that, you know, the fact that it got rid of the rebase is a big deal, but they just have no volume whatsoever. I mean, the volume is 1.2K right now. So they will need to get things going. And work harder on getting more partnerships and do more for the protocol, because that kind of volume is just, It's just way, way too low. But that's one of the biggest problems with DeFi right now. It's just there's not enough liquidity. And I say right now, this has been a problem. Really, I started noticing the lack of liquidity back in May. So I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 months now. Maybe even in April I started complaining about it. So yeah, and then the last one that I wanted to cover is MDB. Very closely related to BNB, but look at this chart, guys. Despite the fact that we've been in a bear market, just all sorts of strong. It's been a very nice chart. The volume's starting to drop a little bit, only 48K in the last 24 hours. But still, these guys have been able to maintain. The tokenomics are solid. I like the project, I like the team. And I have no doubt that these guys are going to not only survive the bear market, but once we're in a bull market, what is this asset going to do? That's the big question I have. What is this kind of asset going to do in a bull market? So pretty excited about the prospects with MDB, and we will see what happens moving forward. So guys, I think that about covers it for now. I mean, next week. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the one short I did, or I can't even remember. Sorry guys, I've been doing so many trades, I can't even remember what I've been telling you guys about it. But I did do a short with Link before the video started, and it looks like I need to get out of it and close it. Mission accomplished. Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick. Right before the video, I saw this huge run up on Link. I went and checked the news. It wasn't really a big run up. Oh, look, it's already out of the overbought area. Yeah, I definitely need to close this short out right after the video. So I opened up a short, I think it was at 725. Yeah, 725, up around here. I started noticing, I was looking at it on a very, very low time frame and noticed that, yeah, it had already wicked up and it was already forming a red candle here. So, no, so you have 724 is where I did it. That's right. And yeah, it's already done enough. I'm already more than happy with that. That's a pretty big drop, almost, I mean, almost, what, 1.5-ish percent for a nice little scalp. So I need to, so yeah, but I just wanted to cover the fact that I did that because on the 1 hour, when I made that trade, it was overbought and it was starting to come down a little bit. And I did notice that a couple different times right before I clicked on the short button, the RSI was lower, but the price was higher. So whenever you see that happen, that's almost always a telltale sign. You see how the price is higher here, but at 13, but right there, you'll see the RSI is lower than it was here when the price was lower. So more times than not, that's an indicator that the asset's about to take a big fall, and it did. 1.5%. It's a beautiful scalp in what, less than an hour, I think. Or I think I'm losing track of time. May have been a little bit over an hour. I can't even tell. But yeah, guys, that's about it for now. Really big week coming up for so many different reasons. And, you know, it's really hard to know for sure what Bitcoin's going to do. Is it going to roll over, or is it going to make that run that could happen because it is so due for some kind of run? I mean, it's been such a while, and I always see it as dumping. So yeah, I mean, even within this last bear flag, you know, it did have a couple pretty nice runs, right? I did one right here from 19K all the way up to 24K. Then it dropped down to found support there within that flag at 20,700, went all the way up to 24.4 again. So you got to figure that we're going to see something here with this structure. You just do. But you know, it could just roll over again first because the macro is just so darn bad. But we will see. So patience is what I would advocate for. And if you decide to make any trades, you know, you might want to just wait and see what it does and see, you know, if it does go on a nice run, that will present some really easy shorts. Or if it dumps some more, you can see when the oscillators kind of reset to see if maybe that's a good time to take a long. I mean, if it does dump again, then it's going to test that 17.5 most likely. And if it tests 17.5K, that's going to be a very important point. You know, if it double bottoms there, you got to figure it's going to run. It's going to run and present a really nice long opportunity. But if it doesn't hold 17.5, then we'll discuss that then. So all right, guys, hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and we will talk again very soon. Thanks for watching.